Welcome everyone to another video. So recently, or yesterday, I participated in a Silph Road tournament in Toronto, the PK and Friends, which is the Princess and King group and their friends. And so I was invited, and what I have here is my team of six: Quailfish, Golbat, Drapion, Toxicroak, Skuntank, and Azumarill. I probably will for the next tournament change a few of these up, but I like Quailfish because it deals a lot of good neutral damage with Water Gun, Aqua Tail, and then I like Golbat because it's a big Toxicroak check. Drapion with its bite, Aqua Tail moveset's quite strong. Toxicroak again, good to get check a lot of those dark poison Pokemon. And then Skuntank is really good at neutral damage, 1v1s a lot of Pokemon. And then Azumarill deals with a lot of Toxicroak counters. So it's a really nice Pokemon to have. But I will change a few of these up. I want to participate in my next tournament. But what I'm going to do for this format is I'm going to walk through at first for a minute each of the teams and what my thoughts are on each of the teams and how I'm going to formulate what Pokemon I'm going to use and lead with. And then I'll do a voiceover of the battles, the either 2 or 3 battles that I participate in. So this first team that I'm going to be encountering here has Azumarill, Alolan Raticate, Swallow, Golbat, Nidoqueen, and Toxicroak. So in this case, what I see here is that I'm like pretty safe to lead with Quailfish. It's going to deal a lot of good neutral damage. So if they lead with Swallow, I know it has Ice Beam. Quailfish is going to absorb Ice Beam. If they lead with, Nidoqueen, then Quailfish is good for that. I'm pretty safe to have Toxicroak in my team because there's only really one counter there. So as long as I account for that counter, I should be good. And then Alolan Raticate, I'm not too worried about. Toxicroak obviously will probably come in at some point, but if I have Toxicroak or Golbat to check that. So nothing on this team is too worrisome, not too many counters to my team, but should be a good and competitive match. So let's see what I went with. So I went with Quailfish, Skuntank, and Toxicroak. So I'm going to take one quick look at my team again, and they're going to go in. I'm going against Pokeburner 308. So it should be a good match. In fact, my entire tournament was good matches. Even if I won the 2 matches, they were all like pretty tough and competitive. So let's see what he leads with to go up against my Quailfish. So if they had like a Venusaur, for example, or an Ivysaur, I'd be like a little bit more hesitant to lead with Quailfish because that's like the one big counter for sure. So here, fortunately it's rain. So here, I'm not too worried about this matchup. If he does Poison Fang, I know I can resist it. Obviously, if he does Shadow Ball, then that's a little bit more worrisome. But I can tell whether or not he's going to do Shadow Ball or Poison Fang just because of how early it is. So there you'll see Aqua Tail doesn't like one-shot KO it, but does do a decent amount of damage. So here he did Poison Fang. I probably should have not shielded, but I was a little bit worried because it was taking a little while to get to the charge move on his end. Let's see what he does here. If he shields or not. He did shield. And then I know at this point in time it's going to be a Poison Fang, so I'm not going to shield here. I haven't... Oh, no, it's a Shadow Ball, so made a mistake there. Okay. He looks like he faked me out, which is what I was expecting originally the first time. So here I come out with Toxicroak because I know counter... I want to build up his counter energy. So in this particular situation, we're both at 1 shield. But the thing is I have the energy advantage, right? So I'm able to get off Mud Bomb before he's able to. So I'm going to shield here because this is a really good shield here because it resists like because Mud Bombs would one-shot me there. I would save a lot of energy here, and I really like Toxicroak here. So here I try to fake him out with this Mud Bomb to try to burn his 1 shield, and unfortunately he does not. Considering his last mon, that's like a pretty safe move to do. It wouldn't have mattered anyways because I would have got KO'd by this Ice Beam anyways, so wasn't that big a deal. I know I have Skuntank here. I know Skuntank will be able to beat Azumarill here. So here, I just go for this Crunch, just because it's like a little bit lower energy requirement, even though it does resist Crunch. At this stage of their health, it would KO Azumarill regardless. And then here, I'm going to feign on the fast moves. This Ice Beam, Ice Beam or Play Rough, I'm not too worried about. I'm going to be able, it's neutral damage because the poison resists. So Skunk Tank is a hard counter to Azumarill, so not too worried about that. Ice Beam, neutral damage. Play Rough is neutral because it's super effective against Dark, but Poison resists. So really good first match. I didn't see anything in the lineup that's like too concerning to me, so I'm just gonna run the same lineup here, just because I didn't see any obvious counters that he was using that I was too worried about. So here I'm just waiting for him to decide his battle parties and his teams. And then I'm going to go in. So really, really good first match. Nothing too concerning there. I thought Quailfish did perform really well. I was actually like really happy when I saw Golbat at first, just because like that's like big Toxicroak counter. I have Toxicroak on my team that he has. So if I got rid of his Toxicroak counter, that's really great for me. So that's a really like bold move to predict. To use Golbat first to predict the Toxicroak, but it's not helpful. So here, I'm not too worried about it because we both resist. I resist all the moves that Azumarill has. So this is a good play or good switch here to Toxicroak because that does beat Quailfish. I'm gonna get off that charge move there, and then I'm pretty sure I just sack my Quailfish here. Quailfish is able to absorb this here, and then it's going to get... I'm not going to be able to get this Aqua Tail off. No, unfortunately not. But I did a good amount of damage there, so I'm going to switch to my Toxicroak here. It seemed like he was lagging a little bit on this switch, because he definitely should have beat me to this Mud Bomb. So Pokemon, if you're battling here, let me know if you were lagging there. Couldn't tell looking at this battle now. Looked like there's a little bit of lag, so I shouldn't be able to beat that to the... I would have shielded anyways, and I had the shield advantage. So here, again, similar play. I'm going to build up the energy a little bit, and then I know he doesn't like to shield, or burn his shield sometimes, so here I'm going to just go for the Sludge Bomb, and then it dealt super effective damage, so that's good. And then here, I think I shield here, because I know I can KO it with Mud Bomb. And Play Rough would deal neutral damage. So it looks like I'm trying to risk it here, which makes sense because there's no way they're going to be able to get to the charge move here. And then I'm going to hit it with Sludge Bomb here. If it doesn't shield, it's going to do a good amount of damage because it's going to be resisted, but it's a pretty strong move. So here I'm going to hit it with... I burn the shield, which is good. And then I know Skunk Tank 1v1's Golbat. So I'm not too worried here. Even though Skunk Tank does resist it, Poison Jab is resisted by Golbat. Wing Attack doesn't do that much damage. Skunk Tank is quite tanky at Great League. So I'm going to shield here. Let's do Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball resisted, but actually does a good amount of damage because Shadow Ball is quite a strong move here. And then it doesn't matter here. Here comes Poison Fang. Poison Fang is a pretty weak move, and as well as resisted, so it's not going to do very much damage. So I'm just going to finish it off with this Crunch here, and it should be done. Crunches does neutral damage, so it would do a good amount of damage to Golbat. So really good first match. Thanks Poke Burner for that battle. And then you can see there, round 1 is completed. So I'm pretty happy about it, pretty pleased about that. And we are going to move to round 2 here. And you'll see here as an Ivysaur, Nidoqueen, Clefable, Toxicroak, Skunk Tank, and Mawile. So here actually you see very little, maybe Clefable. I see very little Toxicroak threats. I don't see the typical like Venomoth or Golbat or like a Togetic as like these huge counters to Toxicroak. So I'm going to lead with Toxicroak. A little bit of a risky move to lead with Toxicroak, but in this case, like the only really hard check here is Clefable, but Clefable, it has Zen Headbutt, which is going to hurt a lot because it's double super effective against Toxicroak, but its charge moves are like pretty high up, like pretty high energy costs, and Zen Headbutt's very slow at charging, so I'm not too worried if I lead with Toxicroak here. I'm going to bring out my Golbat to check like the Toxicrow and to the Ivysaur. So let's see how we do here. So I'm going to take one last look at the team. That's what I always look at, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything super obvious as I go through this battle. And then I forget what my third Pokemon here I bring in. Let me just see. So I bring in a Azumarill because I figure Azumarills can check a lot of these Pokemon. So let's see what we do here. Toxicrow, and then Ivysaur. So Ivysaur here, I'm not too worried about. If it has Razor Leaf, I'm a little bit more worried about it, but it looks like it has Vine Whip, which I'm not too worried about. So I know we're going to get this charge move off beforehand. I prefer Venusaur. Ivysaur does have better stat distribution for Great League, but Venusaur has Frenzy Plan, which makes it a little bit more viable Pokemon. And then here, I know it either has like Poison or Grass moves, even though I don't know exactly what moves it has. I'm going to resist it, so I'm not too worried about absorbing the, shielding the damage there. So you see there, I'm going to get off this one Mud Bomb. Let's see if he shields or not. No shield, so that puts me in like a decent position here. And then Nidoqueen, I don't know what move. Nidoqueen has Bite, which is like just wrecking my Toxic. Fortunately, I get off this Mud Bomb in time. And then no shield there. It does a lot of damage there. So in this case, Nidoqueen is ground poison. So I'm going to go with a Azumarill here because I know it has Bite as a fast move, and so, which is going to deal resisted damage. And then Bubble is going to be super effective. So here, Toxicrow. I am a little bit worried about Toxicrow, but I'm going to hit it with Ice Beam here to burn a shield. I can't see why he wouldn't shield here. If he didn't shield, it'd deal a good amount of damage here. And then I tried to switch it to Golbat. It didn't work out. So I'm going to shield here. And then I might load up a little bit more for the bubble there, just because I know it's not going to get off a fast move right away. So here, Golbat just absolutely wrecks Toxicrow. It's super effective and as well resist all of Toxicrow's moves. So here, I'm not too worried. I'm not going to shield here. No matter what move he has, I'm not too concerned there. Mud Bomb is super effective against poison, but flying does double resist, so it has a net resistance. Again, I'm not too worried, but moves he has here. He does have Dynamic Punch, which is going to hit me a little bit harder because of the stab on it, but still not quite enough. And Dynamic Punch is a good move. So let's see what he comes out with here. Nidoqueen, but Nidoqueen's like basically fainted at this point in time. So feel pretty comfortable with the team I have here. I don't see any like obvious counters to the mons that I'm using. So again, I'm just gonna roll with the same team here. I debated between this team or another one. So let's see what I go with. I'm pretty sure I just go with the same team. Yeah, I really debated to see what other mons he had, and I really wanted to use Drapion, but I didn't see any hard Toxicrow counter unless he comes out with Clefable, which looks like he did really well. Actually, I hadn't fought a Clefable before, so I had no idea how much damage it was going to do. And you'll see here, I assumed they had the huge mistake. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this Clefable is doing mad work on me. So yeah, I'm going to hit it with Mud Bomb here. I probably could have saved up for the Sludge Bomb, but I was like a little bit worried that I was going to faint. It still did like a good amount of damage. I tried to switch. It did not let me switch here. So I'm like, what move does Clefable have? I mean, if it hits me with Moonblast, it's going to be resisted. So it hits me with Meteor Mash, which is neutral damage because of the water typing, and then weakness to like Fairy's weak to steel. And then here, Bino has like these 1-bar moves, so I'm gonna just load up on energy here, and then let's see what comes out next. Ivysaur. Ivysaur is usually not good news here. For some reason, I click on Play Rough. I clicked on it accidentally, but he's gonna shield here, and then I'm gonna hit it with Ice Beam. So Play Rough would have been a huge mistake because Poison does resist Play Rough, but it doesn't really matter too much here because I'm gonna hit it with Ice Beam. And he doesn't shield the Ice Beam, probably thinking I'm going to hit Play Rough again. So I'm just going to let him feint me here with Power Whip. So again, I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna go Golbat here. I could have went Toxicroak here, but there's a small chance I would have fainted. So we're lagging a little bit, and I'm pointing at him. Are you lagging? Are you lagging? Let me know when you're good. Looks like we're good. Okay, perfect. I did maybe do 1 or 2 fast moves while he was lagging, but then I also stopped and got hit by a few as well. So here, Toxicroak, I'm not worried about here. I know I'm not gonna win. I'm basically gonna mostly use my fast moves to feint this Toxicroak, hit it with Poison Fang just to burn a shield. But it doesn't really matter too much at this point in time. I know I have this. I have 2 shields up, so I'm just gonna use these shields to conserve my health. And then I'm gonna hit with Shadow Ball here just to finish it off. So really good second match, really competitive. So lots of really good looks there. Clefable is something I hadn't gone up against beforehand. And then so this next match is actually against one of my friends. And he indicated before the match that he had watched one of my streams, or the only stream I did with Twilight prep. So he's pretty familiar with what I'm gonna use here. So here I see Venomoth, which is a huge Toxicroak counter, so I'm a little bit worried about there. Drapion, Skunk Tank, Toxicroak, Azumarill, Venusaur. So I'm like, okay, this Venusaur I'm a little bit is a good lead. Obviously, it's quite strong. Azumarill, Venomoth. Venomoth is what I'm most worried about checking. So in my next lineup, I'm gonna have more checks for Venomoth and for Golbat than what I currently have. So I'm gonna mix up my team. But this looks like a pretty solid all-around team. You see some pretty good staples here. So I think I lead with Skunk Tank here. Because Skunk Tank here, I don't obviously if he leads with Toxicroak, which is a ballsy move because I have a Golbat, is a ballsy move to lead with. But I'm gonna go with probably Skunk Tank to lead. Let's see what I kind of edited that weirdly where I just skipped right to the battle. But that's why I leave with Skunk Tank here. Skunk Tank versus Venusaur. If Venusaur had Razor Leaf, I'd be a little bit more worried, but it looks like it has Vine Whip here. Razor Leaf just does so much damage. It's like a crazy move. So obviously it allows me to get off the charge moves quicker. So here, I'm not worried. Frenzy Plant is strong. It's going to do a good amount of damage here, but not enough for me to shield. And then Crunch here, if he shields, that's good. If he doesn't shield, that's good as well, because it's going to deal like a lot of neutral damage here. So if he does a Frenzy Plant here, I am going to shield here just because I have a Crunch loaded, ready to go. So if he shields again, then I burn 2 shields. If he doesn't, then that's fine as well because I'm going to KO this Venusaur. So he decides not to shield, mostly because he probably didn't have the energy built up. That made sense. And then here, Toxicroak is just going to wipe me out. It's so strong. Neutral damage, Toxicroak. So here I'm going to go Golbat. And then at this point in time, when you see Golbat, you should switch right away. I know you want to build up the energy a little bit, but you're just costing yourself too much health. And then here, the Venomoth. So I'm really happy that this Venomoth came out because I do want to deal as much damage as possible. So I burn the shield with Poison Fang. It's going to be resisted. And at this point in time, I know that Shadow Ball is going to be super effective against the Psychic typing of Venomoth. So there you go. All done. Got rid of the big Toxicroak threat here. So here I'm not gonna burn the shield, because I do want to use I know my Toxicroak wins, because of the shield advantage I have here. So the shield advantage here allows me to shield. Then I'm gonna go into a Mud Bomb and it should be done. Boom, Mud Bomb done, completed, but really good matchup. So it was really important that I drew out his Venomoth and 1v1'd it before I got to my Toxicroak, because it'd be very difficult for me to beat Venomoth. Especially he takes like four shots of confusion. So here I'm gonna run the same lineup here. I didn't see anything too concerning that he was going to run against. Obviously, he ran Toxicroak first, then that'd be a little bit more concerning, but I wasn't too worried here. Even if he ran Toxicroak first, I switched out to to Golbat, I don't see anything that's like too threatening to Golbat, and Skunk Tank does 1v1 Venomoth because of its dark typing. It does net resist. So here I'm not gonna shield here because I'm gonna be able to build up a good amount of energy and feint it with fast moves. Like we basically, it's like a mirror of what we saw before. Okay, I'm gonna shield here. Did build up the energy a little bit faster than I thought it would, so it's a good last minute health advantage there. So he's probably gonna come with Toxicroak, and then I'm gonna hit this Crunch here. I was able to get off just in time, which is great. And then he's gonna shield there. I'm not sure shielding was like the necessarily right play there. I would have just tanked it with Toxicroak. And then Azumarill here. Azumarill's usually a decent check to Golbat. It does beat Golbat by a little bit, but the problem is like I have the energy advantage and like it wasn't doing like a ton of damage there. But I do switch out to Toxicroak here. The main reason why is because I want Golbat to check Toxicroak. I could have like played it out and been fine here. But I also know he doesn't have any shields here, so I know Sludge Bomb is going to KO it. I got a little greedy there on energy, but that's fine. Ice Beam is not going to KO me. And then Sludge Bomb is going to almost KO or KO this Azumarill. It is super effective, but Azumarill is a huge tank. So let's see here if I'm able to get this Mud Bomb. Nope. So he burned with the Mud Bomb right away. But I have Golbat. Golbat has like such a huge advantage here. So here I'm just gonna hit it with. I should be hitting it with Shadow Ball, which is what I'm aiming for. And the Shadow Ball is so amazing. It's such a strong move. It's a way better choice than Air Cutter in my opinion. It gives way more flexibility to Golbat, especially it's not just Toxicroak counter. It's a really good Pokemon overall. So thank you for the match. We'll frog at you, and we're moving on to round 4. So we're moving on for. I'm looking at El Canadiano as team there. So I actually don't see. Again, there's no Toxicroak checks here, which I think is a mistake. No offense, El Canadiano. I think you should always have a Toxicroak counter in your team, just to put that in back in their mind. Obviously, Tentacruel is a really good late game. Low on Raticate, I'm not sold yet, mostly because people have Toxicroak. And then here, Umbreon is also weak to Toxicroak. So if you're going to run Umbreon and Raticate, then you got to have a Toxicroak counter in order to counter it. And then Swallow's good as well with its newly acquired Ice Beam. And then obviously Venusaur, really good. Venusaur, I'm probably going to run Venusaur next tournament with I'm gonna practice a little bit with Razor Leaf and Frenzy Plant. Razor Leaf is just so crazy. It beats a lot of these even poison resisted Pokemon. So it's really good. So let's see what I go with. I go with Skunk Tank, Golbat, and Toxicroak here. So I don't see anything too concerning. My Toxicroak is gonna go in and sweep at the end. I could also led with it. And just beaten whatever came in here. So Swallow, like Toxicroak would have annihilated Swallow. In here, Swallow is poison typing, so it does resist my poison jab. But I think it runs Infestation Bug if I'm correct. And then here, Ice Beam. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Ice Beam. And it's going to do a good amount of neutral damage. But Skunk Tank is a tank. So here I'm going to hit it with Crunch, which also deals neutral damage. I'm actually debating switching it to Flamethrower. And then here I have like a good amount of residual energy. So I'm able to get this Crunch off. See if he shields here. He does shield here. So I'm going to see how far I am up this bar. It looks like I can get off the Crunch before he gets off the next Ice Beam or before I faint. So I am going to take advantage of that. There's plays where I wouldn't necessarily do this and then switch out to Toxicroak, but then I would have to burn a shield anyways to resist the Ice Beam. So now both in this scenario I actually like this a little bit better. So if I was him, I actually would have just fainted me, but I understand you don't know how close I am to a Crunch, so you want to get off the charge move ahead of time, especially since we've been going back and forth. And at this point in time, I feel pretty comfortable that I can faint him. Nope. one counter left. So I am going to shield here because I do like my Toxicroak in this particular scenario, just because it does beat a lot of the Pokemon that he has here. So here I'm going to hit Mud Bomb, and I should be able to KO it, not with this Mud Bomb, but with fast moves, hopefully before he gets off. So good here. And then he's going to bring in Elo and Raticate. At this point in time, he's like, oh, it's done. I was like, oh no. I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense because it is double weak because of its dark normal typing. You'll see that counter actually does almost as much damage as Mud Bomb. I'm going to finish it off here. So good round one of match 4. So yeah, like Toxicroak counters are like almost a must on a team, or else people are just going to come in and sweep with Toxicroak. Especially Mud Bomb is just so deadly and counters so amazing even when it's resisted. So I'm going to just basically pick the same team here and go in. So let's see how it goes here. Let's see what he leads with in this particular scenario. Skunk Tank, Swallow. Again, like kind of played out this matchup already. I'm probably going to TM Crunch to Flamethrower because seeing like Flamethrower buffed is quite nice. It does like quite a bit of damage. When it wasn't buffed, it was like about even depending on the scenario that you're going up against. Obviously, if it was like Venusaur, then Flamethrower is even better. So here I'm gonna deal Crunch, and then he doesn't shield there. We kind of like play out the same scenario here. I'm just gonna let him feint me here, and then I'm gonna go into Toxicroak again. And I can safely go into Toxicroak because I know he doesn't have any counters here. And then I'm able to get this Mud Bomb off before the next Ice Beam. Well, I guess because the energy difference here. And then he's going to go into Ice Beam here. I do get in one more counter before the Ice Beam. And then here I should be trying to feint him with counters. It's a little bit risky there, but it was kind of worth it for me to build up energy. Here, even if I burn the shield, that's like fine too. And then here, Tentacruel. Tentacruel is really good late game, but when you have like a shield, it's just very hard to deal with. And then here I had like huge energy advantage because I built up so much energy from the previous battle. This is why I like Toxicroak in this particular scenario. Try to preserve as much health as much as possible, just because it counters pretty much his entire team. And then here, this Mud Bomb should almost KO it. Yep, one more counter and it's done. So really good, round 4. Thank you for the match. And now we're moving on to the finals. And I kind of knew that there's 2 other undefeated players playing on the other side of the room. So I kind of knew slightly what their lineups were ahead of time. So here's Swallow, Skunk Tank, Venusaur, Togetic, Toxicroak, and Golbat. So here there's like 2 Toxicroak counters. Togetic is like a little bit less of a counter because Sludge Bomb is going to be super effective against it and pretty much KO it, but still like a really strong counter against it and something that's like pretty tough. Like counter basically does no damage. Mud Bomb doesn't do very much damage, and then if it has whatever flying fast move it has, is going to deal like quite a bit of damage here. So I'm a little bit worried about what I'm going to use here, but we'll see. A really well balanced lineup here. And I'm not 100% sold on Swallow yet, but maybe if I try a couple different teams, like I guess if I include Venusaur, Swallow is going to be a really good check to Venusaur. So something to take in consideration here. I generally don't run my Quailfish if I know that they have a Venusaur, just because if they had no Venusaur, then I would run Quailfish just because it's a good shield burner. It deals a lot of neutral damage. 1v1's a lot of Pokemon. So let's see what he leads with. I know this is going to be a tough match. It's been tough matches since the entire tournament, but as you progress, you can feel like the matches get harder and harder, especially if you're building with people with good momentum. So again, here, this is a matchup that I've done so many times because I know a lot of people like Swallow. I'm just not completely sold on it. So he's gonna get the Ice Beam here. I actually don't even know. Oh, it's a Sludge Bomb. Okay, I think Sludge Bomb was a mistake there. Ice Beam. I guess maybe Sludge Bomb's like less energy and he's trying to burn my shield there. But let's see what he does here. I know that if yeah, I guess Sludge Bomb is less energy than Ice Beam, so probably try to burn my shield there. But I don't shield against Ice Beam generally. I don't know what I do here. I guess I don't shield here. See, here comes Ice Beam. He's probably expecting a shield there. And I'm gonna go Toxic Throat here. Seems like a pretty standard set. I should be able to get off this Mud Bomb ahead of time. I probably could have finished it off there, but I was a little bit worried about the speed tie and whatnot. So he did shield there. So I'm gonna shield here. Ice Beam. And then I'm gonna feint him here with counters, and I like that because like I'm like 2/3 of the way powered up on my Mud Bomb. He's gonna go Golbat, and I'm gonna immediately switch to Golbat as well. I think this is a Poison Fang. I think it was too early for Shadow Ball. It's hard to count when it's like when we're switching as well. So here I'm just gonna go Shadow Ball. I think this is Poison Fang. Yeah, Poison Fang. He's probably a little bit worried that I was gonna go for Shadow Ball, and this should KO it, or almost KO it. So there you go, and let's see what he has left. He has Toxic Throat left, so here I'm not worried at all. I'm gonna hit it with. I should have just did Shadow Ball. I don't know why I did Poison Fang. No shields left. I don't know why I did that, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter too much. I'm just gonna let it KO me here. I know I have the shield advantage going to Toxic Throat, so this is a pretty safe win for me here. Plus I have Mud Bomb already built up from my previous battle, and then finish it off there. So really, really good first matchup there. And this was a pretty tough match. I'm not gonna lie. Like so here I run the same team. Not too worried about anything on his team. But let's see if that was a mistake or the necessarily the right move here. So here I go Skunk Tank versus Skunk Tank. I'm like, man, hopefully you don't have Flamethrower, because with the buff Flamethrower, it's like there's no scenario here that allows me to win this appropriately. And I hit this Crunch first, so I'm like, oh man, he probably has Flamethrower. And Crunch deals not very effective damage here. And then I was like, oh, maybe I just want the speed tie. Nope, obliterate me with Flamethrower. Does neutral damage, especially with its buff stats. Does really well. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get this Crunch off. I do, with very minimal energy left. I think he shields here. No, he doesn't shield there. And then let's see here. Oh man, I'm like, I have to go into something here that's gonna. I got to shield right away because he had the Flamethrower already. So here I was like, okay, I'm gonna risk it. Flamethrower doing neutral damage is quite a bit. That was Golbat. I probably should have shielded there, to be honest. Like, it probably would have been a smarter move. At least it would have been a little bit more even matchup here, and then hopefully I win like a speed tie or something like that, or some sort of shield or advantage or whatever. I'm like figured out, like, man, like I have to shield here. And he does Shadow Ball. I think he could have got away with Poison Fang. And then here I try to get greedy with the Shadow Ball, but stupid. I should just did. The reason why I should have did Poison Fang is because I do a Sludge Bomb here. I have to shield here. Shadow Ball would have been good. And then the reason why I should have did Poison Fang is because here this Sludge Bomb would have KO'd the Golbat. or at least even it would have burned a shield or KO'd it already, and then I would have won, or not would have won. I would have fainted it on mud bombs. I still would have lost because he still has a Toxicroak there. So I made some strategic mistakes, and that's like sometimes I get a little too greedy. I'm not counting the moves or turns properly. So really good match. So here I bring up the same lineup because I know if I just do that Poison Fang, that I have a decent chance of winning or at least coming close. So here he anticipates that I'm going to go Toxicroak, which is a hard counter to Skunk Tank. But here I'm like happy that he brought out Golbat because now my Toxicroak has like, unless he brings out Togetic, I guess. It's either Shadow Ball or Poison Fang. But this early it's going to be Poison Fang. So I'm going to hit it Crunch here. Deals a lot of like really good damage there. And then I think this is poison. I thought it might have been Shadow Ball, but I didn't want to risk it. Especially my Skunk Tank is going to be really useful later on. So I see these shields there. And then I know this is Poison Fang, so I'm not going to shield here. And then I should be able to KO it on fast moves here. So simultaneous KO there. So I'm like, I can't bring out Toxicroak right now. I got to bring out. So there, oh man, basically a mirror match of the last one here. So here I try to bait out the shield. Let's see what he does here. He does shield here, so I was able to successfully bait out the shield. I am gonna shield here as well because I know he's flamethrower. And then I have like the big energy advantage here for some reason. And I know the Shadow Ball will come close to KOing it or KOing it. And it's super close. So I'm going to keep doing wing attacks here. Flamethrower, I'm like, oh, it's going to get pretty close to KOing me, but I don't think it's enough. So it's not quite enough. I'm able to finish it off here. And then I'm like, okay, get one wing attack off. So I get one wing attack off. And then I'm like, okay, here you go. Toxicroak versus Toxicroak. I know the combinations of counter are not enough to feint me. So here I know I'm going to survive with very minimal health left. And I got to get off this Mud Bomb right away. So get off this Mud Bomb right away on the half turn. And then boom, I know it's done. So it was a really tough and competitive match. And thank you very much. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that content. If you guys do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I will see everyone in the next video.